General practice. How do you record the supervision of your clinicians? In this episode, I'm going to cover a toolkit that I've created that showcases how you can do that, document it, and keep that as a point for CQC inspections. And when they came for our practice, they seemed to like this. So they gave us a good. Hopefully they'll do the same for you at least. Let's tech enhance your primary care and learning. Hello GP learners. In this episode, I'm about to show you my supervision toolkit that you can use for free in order to manage and support your clinicians in practice, but also get through your CQC inspections, hopefully with a good. And I'm going to show you how you can use this toolkit as well, which is a key part of it. It's a simple Excel word sheet that I've created that does a few fancy things that hopefully makes that process quicker and easier for you. And you can access it through the link coming up down here on the screen, or click on the show notes down below, and there'll be a little link at the bottom that allows you to download it. Alternately, go to the comments and there'll be a pinned comment there that you can click on to get to the toolkit itself. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, as part of CQC inspections, they do ask for the way that you document the supervision of your clinicians. And in particular, there's two key aspects they look at. That's a consultation review and a prescribing assessment. So I've created a joint document that you can utilize to document all of that information. This is all encompassing, so there may be more stuff on here that you feel is not necessary for you to do. That is your choice in terms of how you manage that. But I've tried to incorporate every possible eventuality in order to help as many practices as possible. Added to that, the prescribing assessment in particular has been taken from the RCGP prescribing assessment for GP trainees as a template in order to help manage that for you. If you do have any questions on how to use this toolkit that this video hasn't answered, do put them down in the comments below and I'm more than happy to try my best to answer them. Let's take a look at the toolkit, shall we? So once you clicked on the link, as you can see, this is a Excel spreadsheet that you will access. It has 3 tabs at the bottom. There's the summary tab, the consultation audit, and the prescribing audit. I think it's really useful to complete the summary part because this will then bring all the data for you. And if it's going to, for example, a manager to do an appraisal, or if you're utilizing this as a recommendation and a documentation process for somebody's progression, this can be a really useful tool to use as well. As you can see, firstly, you've got the name of the clinician that you're assessing, dead easy to put in. You can also put in their role, and there is a drop down here to select a variety of different roles, including other, and you've got a box next to it if you need to use that as well. You've got the date of registration, which may be relevant for particular places in terms of the NMC or other registrations that you may need to have. And I've also put a box about prescribing rights. So you'll have 3 different options. They're a full prescriber, a limited prescriber, or a non-prescriber. Clicking on those also changes the colors, as you can see, to make it a little bit easier for you to identify which is which. Let's go full prescriber, shall we? You've then got the options of whether or not you need to do the full assessment. So whether the consultation assessment is needed or the prescribing assessment is needed. Again, these are drop-down boxes to make it easier for you. And then you've got the dates that you've covered the assessment periods from. So this would be the dates that you've covered their consultations from, or their prescribing consultations from, etc. And the date that you've completed the actual review as well. You've then got the number of consultations reviewed, and you'll see this is different for each toolkit. And then the name of the assessor and the position of the assessor, if that's relevant within your organization. You've then got these boxes, which are the summary boxes taken from the other sheets. And this in particular, I found has been useful for our managers because they've just used this to review things because it's probably been assessed by somebody else. And as you can see, these state that these will be populated from the relevant fields. I'll come to that in a second. It's kind of cool. Let's take a look at the consultation audit, shall we? So let's go through these columns in order, shall we? And I'm going to complete them as we go along so you can see what this toolkit can do. So first we've got the NHS number. So if I just put one in, so 999999999. And remember that this is utilizing patient data. So this should ideally be stored on your OneDrive or on your computers at work, which are hopefully secure, or any platform that is suitable for patient identifiable information. If it's not, this should not be stored on, for example, your personal Google Drive or something like that. You've then got drop-down boxes for age ranges, and you can select a variety of different options. So 0 to 6 months, 6 months to 2 years, 2 years to 5 years, 5 years to 10 years, etc. going up. Different clinicians will have different age ranges that they can see and different ones that you may want to focus on their assessment. Particularly, you can use this as a tool for supporting GP trainees as they develop as well. But hopefully that should fill most of the age ranges you feel are suitable. I know sometimes people want more pedantic, more specific ones, but that's up to you. So let's go with a 2 to 5 year old, shall we? Then you've got the consultation types. So we've got various different consultation types: minor illness, LTC reviews, follow-ups, mental health new, mental health follow-up, other acute assessment, clinical admin, other. You can add other consultation types in here if you want to. This is what I've done for most of our clinicians, and I think that covers most of the things that I need to be concerned about for them in the people I assess. So let's go for a minor illness one, shall we? Was the contact triaged? Yes, no, or not needed. So not everybody needs a triage for an assessment for someone to be seen, but there are certain clinicians where they should be triaged as per national guidance. So you may want to complete that. And if it clicks yes, it's green. If it clicks no, it's blank. And if you click not needed, again, it's blank as well. Let's go with yes, this one. Is there effective documentation? Yes, no, or partial. Dead easy to select. Again, if you click yes, it goes green. If you click no, blank. And if you click partial, it goes yellow, indicating that you may need to add some more information later on. Clinical management plan with safety netting. Yes, no, partial. You'll see this is a common theme for some of the boxes. And again, I'm going to put that this was actually suitable. Supervision sought. Again, this may be based on how you run things in practice. Was supervision sought? Was it not needed? Etc. So I'm going to put yes, supervision was sought. Was the consultation felt out of the remit of the clinician? Again, yes, no, or partial. And again, if you're putting partial, I would suggest you put more information in. If you put click yes, then it identifies this as a red consultation that shouldn't have happened, and therefore this may need further review. Supervision documented by supervisor. Yes, no, not needed. Let's put yes. Follow-up and arrangements arranged. Yes, no, no follow-up arranged. Maybe worth discussing. Comments on the quality of decision-making. Good, safe, suggestions for improvements, or concerns noted. So if I was to put suggestions for change, that may indicate something there. If it's safe, it's green. If it's good, it's green. If it's concerns noted, it's red, as you can imagine. And then we've got suggested changes by supervision. So yes, there are safety concerns, big red box. Yes, no safety concerns. So a little red box, but with some green writing. No, no concerns at all. And then partial, again, it goes yellow. And then finally, you've got the end box, which is free text for you to add any context or information relevant to that consultation that you may have to put into to support the progression, development, or assessment of that person's consultation skills. And you've got 20 rows to do that with. Well, 20 plus, to be honest. I've included a few extra. At the bottom, you've then got 2 boxes to put some context. And these are the ones that you saw earlier that said that this will populate from the relevant field. So this is area of good practice and action plan based on training identified. So you can then fill this in, and this will be a summary that then goes in both in terms of the consultation itself, but also in terms of the summary sheet it takes through that information. If you want to see how that works, so let's go to, let's just write suitable here. And as you can see, it pulls through that information for you into that summary sheet. Let's have a look at the prescribing audit now. So as I mentioned, this is based off the information from the RCGP prescribing audit that is done by GP trainees. Similar to the previous boxes, it's got the NHS number that you would include. So let's go for no. And then you've got the options of what medication was issued. And you can see these little red bits here. So I've put in notes here to give you guidance on what is suggested by the RCGP when it comes to assessing these. You don't have to use these. You can absolutely go off the information you already know as a clinician if you're supervising this. But it's a useful tool. And I thought this was the easiest way of putting that information in. So it's not info overload, too hard to look at, but also easy to access and stuff. So then you've got the medication issues. So let's go for amoxicillin. You've then got the right and appropriate drug. And again, you've got yes, safe, room for improvement, or inadequate. And these hopefully incorporate most of the perspectives people would have. Similarly, you've got the same for right dose. You've got right dosage instruction. You've got was appropriate follow-up arranged. Was there the right documentation? Was there a review? And I have on this one put not applicable because there may not necessarily be that this is a review of medication, for example. And then the comment on the quality of the prescribing. And again, you've got those options in terms of safe, room for improvement, out of guidance, or inadequate. And based on what you select, it does give you different color codings to hopefully make that easier. And then you've got the extra box for additional comments that you may want to put into. Now, you could potentially set this up so it pulls through all those comments into the bottom boxes, but I haven't done that because that may or may not be relevant. Again, these boxes at the bottom areas for good practice and action based on the areas of training identified. These will populate into the summary sheet as well. The other thing is that this is designed to also be easy to print out if you want to. So as you can see, if I was to go to print, these should print out on a single page of landscape, depending on the number of consultations you've got. As you can see for the prescribing assessment, it's going to be on multiple pages, partly because of the fact that you are meant to assess 50 different consultations for the GP prescribing assessment. I don't think you need to do that for all your other trainees or other supervising clinicians that you have, but you can utilize as many as you choose to. I'd probably say at least 20 would be a sensible number for other clinicians if you're not doing this as a formal assessment. But do remember, for the formal assessment for GP trainees, this does need to be 50 consultations that are sampled, of which at least 20 need to be reviewed in the assessment process itself. As I mentioned, you've then got this summary sheet that you can utilize and share as best as appropriate as part of the appraisal process, or if you want to in terms of CQC. Obviously, they may ask to look at the whole document. And that is my clinical supervision toolkit document that you can use if you want to. Again, if you do want to give me any feedback on this tool, I'd really appreciate it, and put those comments down below. The comments is also where you will find the link to this document if you want to access it, as well as it's coming up on screen right now. So if you want to type that in, you're welcome to do so, as well as a short link that will take you to the document that is available. It does require you to have an nhs.net email address to access it, I'm afraid. So do check that point as well. If you want more information on how to utilize Excel more effectively in spreadsheets in general practice, then definitely check out this video. It was done by Davinia, who's awesome at knowing this stuff. Alternatively, when I've got it recorded, this is my video on how I got through my CQC inspection and the tips I've got for you as well to try and help with that.